Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our current session focuses on the procedure in total physical response method. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would have some understanding of the nature of procedures that are used in total physical response method. Well, my dear students, Asher 1977, who is one of the major proponents of the total physical response method, he has provided a lesson-by-lesson account of a course taught according to TPR principles, which serves as a source of information on the procedures that are used in this method when it is applied in the classroom. The example that Asher has given is of a course that was for adult immigrants, and it consisted of 159 hours of classroom instruction. The sixth class in the course is the one that I have taken as example here, and I am going to take you to a full slideshow where I would show you how the procedures in it take place. Well, my dear students, if you look at the top of the slide, you would see the first step or the first stage, that is review. This was a fast-moving warm-up in which individual students were moved with commands. Now, if you remember that in total physical response method, the main focus is on responding to the commands or imperatives of the teacher by physical actions. Keeping that in mind, now look at how the teacher gives commands and how the learners here are expected to respond through the physical response. So notice these. Pablo, drive your car around Mayako and honk your horn. Jeff, throw the red flower to Maria. Maria, scream. Rita, pick up the knife and spoon and put them in the cup. Eduardo, take a drink of water and give the cup to Elaine. So, different commands are given and the learners have to act according to them or to respond to them physically. Then the teacher can introduce new commands and new verbs can be added to that. They can be introduced, for example, for wash, wash your hands, wash your face, wash your hair. For look, the verb look for a towel, look for the soap, etc. Gradually, the teacher can introduce items on the list. For example, rectangle. If the teacher wants to introduce this particular linguistic item, the teacher can introduce it by giving certain commands. For example, draw a rectangle on the chalkboard. Pick up a rectangle from the table and give it to me. Put the rectangle next to the square. And so on and so forth. In the same way, if the teacher wants to introduce the linguistic item triangle, the teacher can use different commands such as pick up the triangle from the table and give it to me. Catch the triangle and put it next to the rectangle. So, these are all the imperatives or the commands to which the students or the learners have to respond physically. Now, for example, if the teacher wants to introduce the linguistic item quickly, the imperatives can be walk quickly to the door and hit it. Quickly run to the table and touch the square. Sit down quickly and laugh. And the teacher, of course, can, generate more examples like this. If the teacher wants to introduce certain other linguistic items, for example, toothpaste, toothbrush, or teeth, again, the examples that are given by Asher for the imperatives are here. For example, for toothpaste, look for the toothpaste. Throw the toothpaste to Wing. Wing, unscrew the top of the toothpaste. So, different students or the different learners would be asked to respond to different commands. In the same way, for toothbrush, take out your toothbrush, brush your teeth, put your toothbrush in your book. And, whosoever in the class would be given the command through any of these imperatives, that learner would be expected to respond through a physical action. In the same way, for the linguistic item teeth, touch your teeth. Show your teeth to dollars, point to Eduardo's teeth, etc. And the teacher, depending upon the size of the class, number of the learners in the class, the time that is available, and the nature of the items that are to be taught, the teacher can always, increase the number of commands. Next, the instructor asks simple questions which the student could answer with a gesture such as pointing. For example, where is the towel? Now, the learner would point to the towel. Where is the toothbrush? So another learner would point to the toothbrush. Where is one of the students in the class, and another student would point out to that particular learner. So through these activities where the teacher would give commands or would use imperatives, the learners would respond to them physically and thus would learn the language through that process. An important aspect of the procedures of TPR is the use of role reversal. Students readily volunteer to utter commands that manipulated the behavior of the instructor and other students. So, once the teacher has been through a phase of giving commands and using imperatives, and the learners have responded to them through physical action, now there can be a role reversal where now the learners or the students can volunteer to do these to utter these commands or to use these imperatives. This would give them some kind of drill in speaking activity, and the teacher or the other pairs would perform through physical actions. As far as reading and writing are concerned, the instructor would write on the chalkboard each new vocabulary item and a sentence to illustrate the item. Then the teacher would speak each item out and act out the sentence, and the students would listen, and as she would read from the board. Some in this process also were noted to copy the information in their notebooks according to Asher. In sum total, I would say that TPR enjoyed some popularity in the 1970s and 80s because of its support by those who emphasize the role of comprehension in second language acquisition.